wanna tell in lies. Can you see what I'm not saying through my eyes? All I know is love.
Hey you guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I make my super easy one pot on the stove pot roast. Wow, that was a mouthful, but it's really good and really easy to put together. So I'm going to show you what we're going to need. So I have my pot roast right here. This one is a almost 2.5 pounds. Really nice, thick, nice piece of meat right here. You're going to need some Worcestershire sauce, some olive oil, some black pepper, some of my seasoning. I had to break out a new bottle, y'all. This is really all I use in my kitchen. The only thing I don't use my seasoning on is like if I'm making some eggs or like dessert. But if it requires more than salt and pepper, this is what I'm going to use. This is a bomb all-in-one seasoning. Of course, there's always going to be a link in the description box where you can buy it. It's really bomb, super complex as you can see. If you don't have my seasoning, use some adobo with pepper. That'll be just fine. Not as good, but it'll be fine. All right. So we're going to be using some pecan liquid smoke, some parsley, and some sazon. I've been using this sazon with no MSG opposed to the Goya ones. So this is what we're going to be needing to marinate our pot roast. All right. So let me go and I'm going to rinse my meat off in some super cold water. All right, and then I'll be right back. All right, so we have our meat all nice and rinsed off. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to drizzle a little olive oil on it and then rub that in both sides. I'm gonna keep one clean hand and of course one dirty hand. Well, not really dirty, my hands are clean, but you know. It's gonna get a little messy with this seasoning because I like to rub the seasoning into my meat. Alright, so that was the olive oil. Next, we're going to add some of my seasoning. Let me use this little bit that's left in this bottle real quick. Wasn't even hardly nothing, honey. Alright, so let me open this new bottle of my seasoning. This is really all you need. Okay, flip it. All right. Next, I'm going to put some black pepper. Some sazon. Let's rub this in. That looks so good already. A little parsley. Beautiful. So of course I gotta show you guys a close-up of how beautiful this seasoned pot roast looks. Look at that. You can just tell this is gonna be bomb. Alright, so I am going to marinate this overnight. Okay, you can at the least marinate this like 1 or 2 hours, but I'm gonna marinate this overnight. This is gonna be dinner tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in some Tupperware, and then I'm gonna do the next step. Alright, so I have the meat in some Tupperware. This is just some regular Rubbermaid Tupperware that has a lid with it. So on top of this, I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce. I like to do this part in a bowl because, you know, it's going to run out on the cutting board. And then some of this liquid smoke. Alright, so that was like, I would say that was almost like a 1/4 cup of the Worcestershire sauce. And then a hefty tablespoon of the liquid smoke. So that right there is our marinade. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on it, let it marinate overnight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, you guys, so it's the next day. Here is our steak that I've had marinating all this time. All right, I have let it come to room temperature Right now we are going to heat up our pan and start the searing process. Okay, so our pan is heating up. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little olive oil, not too much, because of course our beef is going to extrude, emit. Of course, our meat is going to let off its own grease and drippings and all that. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat this oil up. All right, so our pan is ready. We're gonna go ahead and put this big hunk of meat. That is a big piece of beef, y'all. And we're gonna sear this on all sides pretty much. My stove is on medium high right now. I'm just gonna let it sit here, don't touch it. This little bit of marinade that's left, don't pour it in the pan. We're gonna save this for when it's time to make our sauce. All right, we're gonna leave this in here, not mess with it. Let's move on and do something else while this is searing. Just don't touch it. Just let it be. Let it develop that crust and caramelization. You know, just let it be. Okay, so I realized I didn't show you guys the part, you know, where I show you what ingredients we're going to be using. But I'll show you now. You guys already seen the meat marinating process. This right here is going to be my add-ons. So these red potatoes and the cream cheese. I decided I'm going to make some mashed potatoes. You guys have already seen how I make my mashed potatoes with the cream cheese. So I got some red potatoes for that. For the pot roast, you're going to need some thyme. I have an onion. I have a carrot, a red and green bell pepper, some beef bone broth, and some minced garlic. Oh, and I got a pineapple back there, y'all. What y'all know about these tropical gold dole pineapples? Y'all, these are the best pineapples in the world. Okay, that cord back there is my phone charger. My kitchen is clean though. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using for the rest of our dish. Alright, we're going to use this bone broth to make our sauce. We are also going to be using a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. Oh, and this right here is some red wine. Okay, this right here is some red wine. If you don't want to use red wine, you don't have to, but I am going to be using this to deglaze my pan. This is a dry wine. Even though it says red velvet, it's not a sweet wine. It's very dry, but it has like little notes of chocolate, which of course is probably why they call it a red velvet. But I'm going to be using this wine to deglaze my pan. And yeah, that's all you need. All of this plus 1 tablespoon of flour, but you'll see when we get to that point. Let me go ahead and start slicing up these veggies so they're ready when it's time to add them to the pan. And I'm going to go ahead and just slice and wash off these red potatoes and get my mashed potatoes started. Alright y'all, so let's get started with these veggies.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel a chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, it can't be replaced. See, no one else can like you do. That's why I don't mind spend my life with you. I wanna please you in any way I can. I wanna share my world, don't you understand? Your love is a one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give all day long. Your love is a one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling all day long.
Alright, so I'm done cutting up my veggies. I just did like a big rough chop because of course these are going to be cooking for a while. They're going to pretty much disintegrate in the pot. You don't want to, you know, cut them too small because they're just going to like turn your pot into mush pretty much. So nice big chunks are good. Okay, it doesn't have to be uniform. I just did a quick rough chop. Alright, now let's go check on the beef. I hear it, I smell it. Let's go see what it's looking like. Alright, so this is definitely ready to flip. Don't worry about that color, y'all. This is gonna be perfect. Alright, we're gonna do this side. That right there is like the seasoning and all that has that dark caramelization, but this is just flavor. This is perfect. If yours is a little dark, it's fine. This is good. Okay, let's get some of that side action. Beautiful. Alright, so we're going to take this out the pot and add our veggies. Ooh, this is a big heavy piece of meat. Toss in all our veg. That smells so good when it hits the pan. Cook this up some. This too is going to help lift some of that fond from off the bottom of the pan. Once you start to really smell them, let's do our deglaze. So right now I'm going to go in with a 1/4 cup of the red wine. Now if you don't want to add red wine, you can always skip that step. But I think it just adds a little something to it. And it smells so good when you do this. So now we're going to go ahead and put our meat back in the center. Okay. That looks delicious. Now I'm just adding some fresh thyme. Okay. A teaspoon of minced garlic. Now right here is that leftover marinade. I'm gonna go ahead and add in 1.5 cups of that beef bone broth. Let's do 2 cups. Cause I want this to cook for a little bit. So that's 2 cups of the beef bone broth. Swish it a little bit. Now we're gonna add this to the pot. Alright, now we're gonna add that liquid. Make sure you get all those bits out. Okay, this is gonna be so good. Alright, so now I'm gonna turn the heat on my fire to medium low. Put the top on, and we're just gonna let this simmer. This should take, I would think, 1.5 to 2 hours, but it's gonna be bomb. Alright, top on, fire low, let it go. Alright y'all, so it's been like 35-40 minutes. Let's check on it. It smells absolutely incredible in here. Look at that. Of course this is not done, but you know, just giving it a peek. Oh, it smells so good in here. Let's go ahead and flip it, why not? Get a good grip. This is a big hefty piece of meat. Look at that. I told you that first sear, when it was a little dark, that was mostly the seasonings caramelizing. But look at that. Beautiful, perfect. Oh, it smells so good in here. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead, put the top back on. Check on it in, what, another 45 minutes? Keep an eye on your pan and keep the lid on. You don't want your pan to go dry. Okay? Alright, so it's been another 40 minutes. Let's see how it's looking. Oh, that smells so good. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn this fire off and we're gonna break this down and make the gravy. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna take out this pot roast and sit it here on this cutting board and just let it rest some. Ooh, this thing is hot. It smells so good. Okay, let's let that rest some. Now I'm gonna show you how I do my quick gravy. So first, let's taste this liquid and see what the seasoning tastes like, if it needs anything. That tastes pretty good. I would think it would need I think it needs a little bit more salt, but only a little bit because of course it's going to reduce down more as it's cooking. So let's go ahead and hit this with a little salt and pepper. Not a lot though. So, how cute is my little salt and pepper well? Man, cute, right? A little bit more. Okay. Little pepper. All right. I want it to taste flavorful, not necessarily at the salt level I want, but close to it, because of course it's going to reduce down some more. So, oh yeah, that right there is good. Alright, so I have my measuring cup right here. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this liquid in, this pan liquid. Be very careful because it's hot. Alright. I managed to do that without a big mess. Now to that, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. And then we're going to mix this well until there's no lumps. And then we're going to add this back to all the liquid. And be careful, y'all, because this is hot. Alright, so this looks good, nice and smooth. Now we're going to go ahead and add this in. So that right there is going to thicken as it cooks, of course. So we have our meat here. I'm just going to slice it up some and then return it back to the liquid, back to the stove. Look at that. Okay. You guys, I forgot I got a whole $200 Le Creuset Dutch oven. I should have made this in, but it's fine. Too late. This is still coming out perfect. Look at that. Bomb. So pretty much it's done on the inside. What we're going to do now, cooking in the gravy, is tenderize it. Look at that. You see that? Bomb. Okay, so we have our sliced up pot roast. Nice slices, not too big. Be careful when you're doing this part, of course, because it's very hot. So the pot roast is pretty much done. What we're gonna do next is tenderize it. So go ahead and put this back into this pot. Then we're gonna put this back on the stove, thicken up this gravy, and it's gonna be bomb. Look at that. Alright, we're gonna put this back on the stove, slow and low. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off my potatoes for my mashed potatoes. Alright, I like to start off with cold water. Alright.
It's not that I want you here, yeah. It's not the way you say it to my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear. I fall for you every time I try to resist you. You get away, palm trees, beach views, and everything. All I wanna do is send the pictures on replay. Still right next to you. You do. Try not to show how I feel about you. You wish you were, but we don't really want to. I just wanna get away and stay right next to you. You
roast with mashed potatoes. This meat is so tender. I know you can tell. Look at that. Y'all, this came out so bomb. Everything's done. This gravy is nice and thick. Be sure to try out this recipe. When you do, tag me, DM me. Okay, I love to see when you guys try my recipes. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to do you, boo. Bye, guys.
Whoa, don't slip up or get caught. Why not, man? I'm coming for that.